says it is on, so I'm hoping it is. All right. So let's talk about what we'll go through today. I'll pull up the lesson plan. You have it in front of you in hard copy. And let's go to PowerPoint. So if you're following along in the PowerPoint, that should be on Moodle. We're starting at slide 18. And then you have the 30 questions that we were looking at on Wednesday. Does anybody else need an extra copy if you all have your questions? All right. So what we're going to do today is really focus on the technique for answering these behavioral questions. You can practice all you want, but who knows what kind of, oddball or curveball questions you might be thrown. If you have a technique to handle them and you trained your mind to think about it, it'll be a lot easier for you to use the technique than try to memorize the answers. But what is the primary element for success in this is developing a list of stories that you can tell. And the more you practice your stories, the more believable, the more comfortable you will be with them. So I do say, if you're practicing as you're walking across campus, practice a story or two before an interview. It will definitely help you get focused and help you prepare. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a panel of 4 students at a time come up. They'll be asked the same question. And I'm going to ask one of you to ask the question for each section that we go through. Is that fair? I'm going to ask somebody else to be a timekeeper. So you want to ideally have your answers to be 1 to 3 minutes if you're on the panel. You don't want to belabor the point. You don't want to talk too much. And we'll go through the technique again. So do I have any volunteers for our first group as we go through? Nobody says anything. I'll just pick somebody's. Devin says, Evan. Who else did I see? Evan and Matt. Okay, and then I need one more person for our core panel. Why don't you come up here and we'll, one more person? Okay. How about Miss Kayla? You gotta get in there gender diversity. And then who will be my timekeeper for our first round? Adrian, you're on. You got a timer on your phone or anything? Okay. So you need to have some sort of signal that you can give.
Oh, thank you.
So you might want to turn really on your face when you're watching them. But maybe hold up something.
No,
I like time on it.
Yeah, when they're remote.
Doesn't even matter if you hold up something.
I know, like, all those.
You're
Yeah,
so good.
I like a
They'll see
poster
you.
of them.
Okay, just make sure that they have
It's so funny.
So Adrian, for our first round, is going to give you about 3 minutes for each candidate. And if you're close to that 3 minutes, he's going to give you a little flag. He'll flag something. Try to wrap it up so that the next person can move on. Okay? So. Okay, fair enough. So you're going to have the opportunity to have feedback, and the way we'll work with feedback, I'll go through it in the slides, is we're going to let the folks who are in the panel talk about how they experienced it first. This is not an easy exercise, so when we give feedback, let's be kind, because you'll be knowing that you'll be up here soon. So let's get started. What is the whole point of these behavioral interview questions? Employers want to know that you can think on your feet. They want to know, can you fit into their culture? Will you be able to solve problems for them? So they're looking at your ability to solve a problem in the past and your ability to continue to do that. And they use these techniques to try to identify some high performers. So this idea of a bellwether, if you've done it in the past, you might have this ability to lead the pack in your peers. So they're looking for those standouts. You want to avoid any non-answers. We'll go to that in the next slide. So I'm going to ask you we won't cover these, but I'm going to ask you to consider in your interview questions, interview opportunities, if you get one of those oddball or curveball questions, don't just phase out and say, this is ridiculous, I'm not going to be part of this. Because these questions are meant to weed out the weak and the herd. They are. So if you just say, that's crazy, I'm not going to deal with this, you might as well just get up and leave and not spend the whole day. But they're designed to ask you questions, particularly in the PR advertising management and marketing disciplines, to see how creative you are. And I can tell you the ones that I've received because I put them on the slide. So the dumb ones, I call them the dumb questions. If you were a tree, a dog, an animal, a superhero, who or what would you be? So when I was asked if you were a dog, I said, I'd be a Labrador because I'm loyal. And I want to be right by your side. And I said all the crap that they wanted to hear. And that's really what you want to do in these interview questions is flip it around so you show your character traits, even though you know it's silly. So take it at face value. If they're going to ask you, what part of the sandwich or burger would you be, take a moment to think about how would you answer a silly question like that. Some people say, I'd be the meat because I'm the heart and I'm the center of the attention. Some people say, I'm the bread. I'm going to be the foundation that you build it on. I'm the salt of the earth, right? The third one here, sell me on the virtues of a paperclip. No kidding. I just this not even 10 years ago. I just this 25 years ago. So the paperclip is a unique invention that can be portable. It's not like a stapler. It's lightweight. It's versatile. All the stuff you want to do if you're in a sales position. You're looking for how creative you can be. So we will not cover that in today's lesson, but I don't want you to be not prepared for those types of questions. And if they ask you these things and you're in a phone interview, you can hide your disgust with the question. But if you're in person, you have to act and play along. So again, it's a technique to weed out the people they don't think will fit in their culture and pull up those high performers. So here are the techniques for and this is on slide 22 in the handout. There's something called STAR or also SAR. I abbreviate it as SAR. You're going to define and respond to a question with the situation that you were engaged with. Then you're going to talk about the action that you had, and then some sort of result, a business result. If you didn't have the opportunity to work long enough to see your work implemented, you're going to talk about the learning that you had. Perfectly acceptable way to answer it. So situation, action, result, learning. When you get to the end of the question, stop. They may not interrupt you. They may just see how long you continue. And that's also a technique to see, can you edit yourself? Right? Can you be concise and know when you're done? Be positive. If they ask you negative questions, don't say, well, I was in a situation where my previous boss or my colleagues did this, that, and the other. You want to focus on the positive aspects of how you look at that problem as an opportunity. Trying to engage with facial expressions, use some gestures, particularly if you're seated. You want to be able to stand out from your peers who may be just as anxious as you are, but might not have trained themselves in some techniques. And then look at the skills that they're looking for in the position. If they're looking for somebody who is organized, who is reliable, shows up on time, has Excel, Microsoft Word experience, or is looking for someone who can take a problem from a customer and turn it into an opportunity, you want to use those types of stories to reinforce what you know. So I have on the last bullet there, sync your answers with the strengths the employer is looking for. So that implies you studied that job description very well. Before I go forward to the next slide, any questions on this technique? Very similar to what we did with the EES. If you practice it, you'll have it in your toolkit. What do you do if you haven't had a lot of experience working in business? You have experience being a student. You have experience, maybe you've worked as a volunteer, even if it's half a day at Habitat for Humanity. You're going to call out those experiences that you've had. You might be a caretaker for children, could even be younger brothers and sisters. You want to look at anything you've done, academic team projects or presentations. Those are great examples of stories you can tell that would seamlessly fit into this type of interview situation. Obviously, your academic clubs. Any role where you have significant responsibility. If you're responsible for getting, your whole team on a bus to get to Georgia to go to a game, that's logistics, planning. You have to know who's on board. You're taking care of people's well-being. All of those things are good skills to talk about. So don't discount what you have if you haven't had a lot of work experience. Okay? Trust me, everybody's in the same boat as you. Okay? Make sense? For those of us who've looked at, if you're a student athlete and you've looked at training as a job, talk about it in that way. But you don't have to say in sports and sports and sports. You can just say, when I focus on, the team, when I focus on the outcome, I'm successful. Does that make sense? Okay. Ways to turn your stories into helpful tools. So I'm going to give you an example. You tell me what you think of it. So the question, or actually this is a little bit more process for you to look at. How do you define the situation? What was the time frame? Last summer, last year, in the past 5 years I have done. What was your role? I played a significant role in helping Elon develop a marketing communications program for students. What was the problem or issue that you solved? Well, I solved the problem because we didn't have a way to get together as marketing students that would connect with the outside world. We were kind of a community enclave to ourselves. Actions that you took. What was your thought process? People are really interested. Did you think about this? What were the steps that you took in your mindset? And then again, with the result in learning, what was the business result, or how did your actions contribute to a positive situation or reverse a negative? What did you learn about the experience? So you can either do result or learning. If you're not going to the park, do both. You might not always have a business result to talk about what you learned. We're looking for that self-awareness and growth. And now I think I have a question. Maria, how did you motivate a customer service team? Well, I worked, last summer I worked in a customer-facing role in a retail environment where I managed part-time student employees. It was a great opportunity for me. However, I began to receive some negative feedback on our busy mornings. Customers were complaining. So the actions I took, I looked at the problem, I talked with our part-time staff, and I found that they were really surprised. They thought they were doing a great job. They were like, Maria, we're loading the stock, we're getting the equipment in the shelves. Customers seem to be grabbing it as fast as we can replace it. Well, guess what? The customers wanted to ask questions of those customer service people, and they thought if I was going to remove myself from the scene, kind of be invisible, that they would be more effective, which was the opposite. So what I did as a young manager is I started to give them positive feedback, and I looked at this as an opportunity for us to improve, and also on those busy mornings, maybe we could actually up the bar and increase sales. What was the result of that? Well, by focusing on the customer, our customer service reports improved, and so did our sales. At the end of it, I learned that communicating and understanding expectations is really an important part of every job. Peace out. That's the end of the answer. So anybody could answer this question if you've had any experience working in a customer service environment. I don't care if it's Dairy Queen, I don't care if it's the Gap, the pro shop at a golf club. Think about those opportunities and start to create your own stories. And I know today in class, you're not going to have your stories all crystallized. The point is to try, think about it, give it a shot. If you hear a question that, that someone's been asked, then you can refine on it. Then you have an opportunity to learn from each other. Okay, so take this as a really healthy environment to learn. There's no grade for today. Okay, so let's get started. I would ask for someone else to be our interviewer. Could we select? Who's like our interviewer for this? Who's going to ask the first question? We want to start on this whole idea of teamwork. Actually, maybe I could ask you to be, would you sit right next to Brittany? And do you have your list of questions? Here, I have it for you. Okay.
Thank you.
So you're going to ask them one question, introduce yourself, tell them you're the manager of blah, blah, blah company, right? And they're all going to each ask the same question. Catering might make a noise if they're going over, and you can say, well, now we'll move, we'll start with Matt. We'll go on to Devin. Goodness gracious. I'm a little fortunate to remember. Devin and then Kayla. So you call them each by name. Do you know their names? No, just in case. Why don't we do this, guys? Why don't you just introduce yourselves and say what your majors are before actually get started with your question?
I'm Matt. I'm a finance major. I'm Devin, international business.
I'm Evan, I'm sport and management.
I'm Kayla. I'm on the staff.
Perfect. So Ashley, why don't you get
Is
started?
there any? What's your name?
Right?
Yeah.
Evan.
Oh, Evan. Sorry.
We went.
Evan.
Yeah.
So just pick one question, actually, we'll start with in the teamwork section. Anyone that you want to. And they'll each answer the same question.
Okay. So, give me an example of a time you faced a conflict while working on a team. How did you handle that?
And who should start?
Kayla.
An example of a time I experienced conflict on a team was my senior year. I was part of a competition dance team, and towards the end of the year, we had seen each other every single day after school, and we started having a lot of drama, and we had a whole bunch of different age levels in our group. So one night I went to our dance teachers and said I would like to get everyone together and kind of have a big powwow, big kumbaya, and say, hey, listen, it's really important that we, act as a team. People can see that on stage, that we don't have the chemistry and the relationship that is needed. So one night I sat everyone down and we went in a circle and just kind of talked about, what the problems were, how we could fix it, and just kind of figure out what was the root of the problem so we could solve it, because it really does make a big difference on stage. Okay.
So throughout my high school experience, I played football, but I had no more than 22 players on a team, and obviously that's not a lot to play football. So throughout those years, coming from Virginia, we faced some pretty talented athletes and teams that had players going to UVA, Virginia Tech, and then on into the NFL. So a lot of our players, when we face these guys, lose faith because, our offensive line, defensive line, they're going both ways the entire game. They're the same players. So a big challenge for that was developing what we call Ironman football, which was a way to keep everyone just together to pull through it. It wasn't the best, but instead of playing more for wins, we were playing more just for each other for the love of the game. So it was definitely a conflict trying to push through that, because a lot of guys just wanted to stop playing and give up. But the development of the whole Ironman football mentality definitely helped out through that.
Back in high school, I was on the wrestling team, and we didn't have a big team. We were 10 strong. But the problem that we faced as a team was that we could never get the setup done in time. And if we couldn't do that, then we ended up having to run a mile. And eventually everyone realized that we needed to work as a team in order to get that done. So what we did was that we compromised our time based on how busy our weeks were right after school. And everyone was given an assigned day to help out and set up so that it was fair, and eventually we realized that we weren't going to need to have to run a mile.
In high school, I was part of the investment club, and at the beginning of each year, there's a tournament to see who can wind up with the most returns on their investments. And they're split up into groups. And my team, we started out just doing risky day-to-day trading, and we wanted to find out a way to make safer investments and just make sure we got returns and not losses. So we came together as a group and figured that instead of doing the day-to-day trading, we were better off investing in mutual funds and things like that. And we ended up winning the next year, not that year, the year. That's all the risky investments.
Great. Any other questions, Ashley? Good?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's go through the feedback with that. And why don't we start with Kayla? And we have some feedback questions here. Authenticity, relevance of the answer, confidence level, energy level, poise, diction, language skills, and brevity. So how did you feel about just being relevant to the question in your response, Kayla?
I don't know, I feel like it was pretty relevant.
Mhm.
Just because it was a big deal, being in the situation, conflict when you're supposed to be a part of a team that where it gets to the point where other people notice it and other people outside of your team are affected by it. So I feel like, yeah, it was pretty relevant.
I thought so too. One thing that you could do to make it even more relevant to the business world is say, in client situations, when a group of consultants or accountants go out to meet with clients, if we're not all in sync, it shows.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to see that they're talking to a team, not to one or two strong people, and there's some disagreement on the team, or just some unsettled business. So, but I thought it was really great.
So,
Edwin, what do you think? On your
well, so I thought we were answering one from each section. So
no, we're just going to do one question for each group. So you
Yeah.
you focused on the aspect of teamwork. How did you feel? How relevant did you feel your question was?
I thought it was somewhat relevant. I mean, I hadn't had a lot of conflict working in a team out in actual professional world.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, my experience has not been in conflict; it's been a success. So I felt like that was just the most relevant because it was multiple years of that. Because I was all throughout 4 years of high school, so I figured that was a long time of, I guess, conflict.
So let me stop you right there. You said something really important that I'm listening for. I haven't had a lot of experience with conflict in teams. In fact, I've worked year over year with the same team, and we've developed well. I've learned this, that, and the other to develop. Yeah, take that question and answer it the way you want to.
Okay.
So you're talking to your strength, and you're still authentic. Right?